It's not just an endless sea of sand. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest things that have been found in the desert. For this list, we're looking at various odd items and seemingly unexplainable phenomena that have been discovered within the deserts of the world. We will not be including art pieces such as the Mano del Desierto in Chile, as those were deliberately placed and meant to be discovered. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10. The Mahdi Man. Located west of Mahdi, South Australia, is a large geoglyph known as the Mahdi Man. The figure depicts an indigenous man holding a stick or a boomerang, similar in pose to the Artemisian Zeus sculpture.
It is by far the largest ground drawing on Earth. The origins of the drawing are a complete mystery.
The geoglyph is 1.7 miles tall, with lines 12 inches deep and 115 feet wide. It's located on the plateau of Finniss Springs, and absolutely no one knows how it got there.
It's over 2.5 miles in length. That's gargantuan.
How did it get there? There is also the question of why? Why would someone want to do this?
It was discovered by a charter pilot on June 26, 1998, and satellite images prove that it was made between May 27th and June 12th of that year. Most people believe it was created by local artist Bardius Goldberg, but nothing has ever been proven.
In August 2016, locals decided to restore the Mahdi Man to its full glory. But to this day, the original author of the work remains a mystery.
Number 9. Horned kangaroo skulls. In the early 2000s, fossilized bones of unusual horned kangaroos were unearthed from Australia's Nullarbor Plain by the Western Australia Museum. The discovery initially confused Dr. Gavin Prudhoe and his team of paleontologists, although they later discovered that the horns were actually prominent brow ridges. They also found that the kangaroos had long claws and theorized that the eye ridges were used to protect the kangaroos' eyes as they were burrowing and wading through spiky bush. While that's not quite as exciting as actual horns, the unique kangaroos still made for a new discovery, and Dr. Prudhoe stated that the ridges, quote, are very weird features about a skull or skeleton. Number 8. Vintage video games. E.T. the Extraterrestrial is widely regarded as the worst video game ever made, and it's become an important piece of gaming culture.
It's frustrating, it's challenging, and it's a brain teaser, but that's what makes it so addicting.
Gaming Legend states that vast quantities of unsold copies were buried in a New Mexico landfill, but this was never officially proven until April 26, 2014. Fuel Industries was given access to the Alamogordo dump site to film a documentary titled Atari Game Over. On hand was Atari manager James Heller, who claims to have buried 728,000 cartridges. It wasn't long until they struck gaming gold, and over 1,000 cartridges of various games were successfully excavated.
It's here, it's a verifiable fact. We've been talking about it forever, and we were right.
I feel happy. It's cool. I'm watching the myth actually coming to life now. It's no longer just an urban myth. It's no longer a tall tale. It's now a fact.
A copy of E.T. was given over to the Smithsonian for its historical importance within gaming history.
You'd think they'd, burn them or throw them away in a kind of more obvious and public way than to bury them in the desert and just hope they wouldn't be found.
I can't speak for Atari because I certainly wasn't with them way back then, but I think there was a little bit of shame involved.
Number 7. The works of old men. These biblical-sounding structures are ancient geoglyphs found throughout the desert spanning from Syria to Saudi Arabia. These geoglyphs were first discovered by an RAF flight lieutenant named Percy Maitland in 1927 as he was flying airmail over Jordan. However, T.E. Lawrence made note of, quote, long and puzzling walls found in the Negev desert in 1913, although he failed to realize their historical significance. These structures are built from stone, take on many different shapes and sizes, and may be up to 5,000 years old.
You can see the very bleak, black landscape it lies in, but you can also see just how substantial it is. It consists of a head down there, which is about 200 meters across, and it has to have at least two tails, two walls running out from it.
Most are believed to be desert kites, which was a system used by ancient desert civilizations to herd and trap wild game like ungulates and gazelle. Number 6. Pharaoh. There's something weirdly poetic about a whale graveyard located next to a desert highway. Well, that's exactly what you get with Cerro Ballena, which is near the Pan American Highway in Chile's Atacama Desert.
The skeletons were exposed right next to the Pan American Highway, so there's 18-wheelers, large road equipment going by all the time, creating vibrations that can actually damage and destroy the fossils.
Situated north of Caldera, the site contains the bones of 10 different marine vertebrates, including seals, aquatic sloths, and up to 40 baleen whales.
They found the remains of 75 whales, including 20 perfectly intact skeletons on a stretch of land 240 meters long. Now that is the length of more than 2 football fields.
It is the densest collection of whale fossils in the entire world, and was found during a road expansion project in 2010. The site is estimated to be between 6 and 9 million years old, and it's believed the animals died from toxic algal blooms and were washed into a mudflat before they were buried by sand.
Researchers uncovered strong evidence to suggest that the whales died after ingesting toxic algae. The dead animals were then swept into an estuary and onto flat land where they were eventually buried by sand.
Number 5. The Bom Jesus. Someone call Indiana Jones because we have a case for him.
Come on, genius.
Namibian diamond miners found the remains of an old sailing ship while draining a lagoon. Inside the relic were human bones, navigational tools, valuable pottery, and thousands of gold coins.
The coins are extremely valuable, but they're even more rare. The Queen's Jewels salvage operation last month uncovered more than 300 gold coins, including 9 coins called royals.
Archaeologists confirmed the wreckage was that of the Bom Jesus, a Portuguese ship that was lost in 1533.
Ever since then, the Namibian government and De Beers have been cataloguing the find.
The ship was in such remarkable condition owing to the copper ingots, which deterred insects and organisms responsible for decay. And don't get too excited. The gold coins were handed over to the Namibian government after Portugal waived their right to the claim. Number 4. 8 million mummified animals. Located in Saqqara's catacombs of Anubis is a mass grave filled with 8 million mummified animals. A large majority of the animals are dogs, as dogs were closely linked to the ancient Egyptian god of death Anubis.
Anubis, come forth.
Project director Paul Nicholson claims that killing and mummifying dogs was a religious act, as the dogs supposedly interacted with Anubis to bring good fortune to the recently deceased. Nicholson and his team estimated that there were up to 8 million animals interred within the catacombs, many of them small dogs that were bred specifically for the purpose. Number 3. Fairy circles. Fairy circles are creepy little circles of barren land located within an arid grassland. The result is a sea of grass blotched by infertile circles of land, spanning 7 and 49 feet in diameter.
There's actually millions of them, and in fact, they can grow up to 65 feet in diameter and live up to 75 years. Scientists have no idea what the heck they are or how they're formed, but they're nicknamed fairy circles.
Most of them are located in the Namib Desert, although some have recently been found in the Pilbara of Western Australia. The Himba people of northern Namibia attribute the patches to gods and spirits, but the truth is far more mundane, if equally fascinating.
Some researchers suspect a highly poisonous bush of the euphorbia family. They believe it contaminates the soil so badly that even after its death, nothing can grow.
The main contending theory posits that the grass organizes itself in this pattern to catch water within the barren circles, loosen the soil, and feed the nearby vegetation. Life finds a way, even in the middle of the Namibian desert. Number 2. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Also known as the Qumran Cave Scrolls, these are a large collection of ancient Jewish religious manuscripts dated between 408 BC and 318 AD.
They are believed to be the discovery of the 20th century. We're talking about a corpus of over 900 manuscripts, comprising all of the books of the Bible.
Right.
And these are the oldest copies of the Bible that we have, 2,000 years old.
Wow.
The Qumran caves contain thousands of parchments and papyrus fragments, most of which fall into 3 groups. 40% are texts from Hebrew scripture, 30% are texts not canonized within the Hebrew Bible, and roughly 30% pertain to the rules and beliefs of various sects within Judaism.
About 500 of the scrolls are copies of Jewish literature of the time. Another 200 are biblical, and a further 200 are the rules and practices of the desert community who probably hid the scrolls.
They were first discovered by Bedouin shepherds who found 7 scrolls contained within jars in a local cave. Further scrolls were unearthed within the caves near the West Bank's Dead Sea throughout a 10-year period between 1946 and 1956.
The very material, the biological material of which these scrolls are made,
is as telling and as informative as the content of the text. And this has changed dramatically my own personal understanding of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I believe it will also inform many of my colleagues from now on.
What will they find next? And where? Like, how much more stuff could possibly still be hidden on Earth? I guess we'll see, because we have some honorable mentions before we get to the most crazy thing ever found in the desert. Mysterious patterns. Bizarre patterns were found in China's Gobi Desert.
There's no way these features are natural. These patterns are in a very remote area. They involved a lot of material to create them, so they must have been put there for some sort of important purpose.
Ancient boat. Czech archaeologists unearthed a 4,500-year-old boat. Giant concrete arrows. Arrows were littered throughout America to aid pilots.
Some hidden in remote areas like this one along a mesa north of Acoma, others just off roadways. Although they appear to point to nothing, they have a purpose.
Tunisian lake. A mysterious lake appeared in the Tunisian desert. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Nazca Lines.
From here, it might not look like much, because to really see the Nazca Lines, you need a completely different perspective.
When it comes to geoglyphs, none are as popular as the Nazca Lines. These desert depressions were created between 500 BC and 500 AD in Peru's Nazca Desert, and were fabricated by removing the surface pebbles and revealing the yellow-gray subsoil beneath.
Using rudimentary surveying techniques, specialists marked up the geoglyphs with wooden poles and cotton string. While they plotted out the figure's shape, workers cleared stones.
They were first noted in 1553, when conquistador Pedro Cieza de Leon mistook them for trail markers. The lines and figures cover 19 square miles of desert, and most measure between 0.2 and 0.7 miles across. The designs vary and include shapes of spiders, humans, flowers, and monkeys, among many others.
Why do the Nazca construct 300-foot-wide images and mile-long lines that they have no way of viewing?
The exact reason for their being remains uncertain, although most experts agree they have religious significance to the ancient Nazca culture. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.